Fox 11 is digging deeper after learning Green Bay Correctional Institution was investigated for incidents similar to what landed 9 Waupun Correctional employees behind bars.
We have several missteps that we have highlighted that we want to make sure are corrected.
One key difference, the employees at the Green Bay prison were not criminally charged.
Fox 11 has been pouring through letters detailing why that decision was made.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight at 9. Fox 11 has learned the incidents sparking the investigations at Green Bay Correctional had to do with a death and an attempted suicide.
At Waupun Correctional, there were 4 inmate deaths in an 8-month span. Tonight, we have team coverage on the incidents at both of Wisconsin's oldest prisons. 9 prison employees from Waupun, including the former warden, are now charged. During yesterday's news conference detailing that investigation, the Dodge County Sheriff revealed Brown County had a similar investigation into incidents at Green Bay Correctional. That has led Fox 11 to investigate what happened and find out why no one is being held accountable on a criminal level. The Brown County Sheriff's Department referred cases involving 4 Green Bay Correctional employees to the district attorney for potential criminal charges. After reviewing the Sheriff's Department's investigations, Special Prosecutor David Weber described the prison as having systemic issues and the officers being involved in a series of missteps. However, Weber determined it would be inappropriate to place the blame with the employees. While Weber's comments echo some statements Dodge County Sheriff David Schmidt made on his department's findings at Waupun Correctional, the outcomes are very different.
We need to find ways to make sure that we safely conduct business.
According to a letter from Special Prosecutor Weber to Brown County District Attorney David Lassay, in the first GBCI case, a man died in 2021 on the same day he was denied a wheelchair. Weber determined a registered nurse and correctional officer made oral and written records before the death with the belief the inmate didn't need the wheelchair. Body camera footage also showed the inmate was able to walk a handful of times that same day. The second case focused on an inmate's attempt to take his own life. Weber determined there wasn't enough evidence a corrections officer and supervisor failed to act on the inmate's suicide threats. There is also a history of baseless suicidal threats from the inmate. Despite his decision to not move ahead with criminal charges, Special Prosecutor Weber writes, the harm being caused to both the inmates and the morale of those required to be working in the environment at the prison is significant. Weber hopes the state can promptly address and rectify the shortcomings at GBCI, moving forward for the good of the community and higher ideals for our society.
No criminal charges were filed in those incidents. However, we have similar issues that occurred during those incidents.
Governor Tony Evers has long said he has no plans to build a new prison, planning to instead focus on ways to decrease prison populations. Those overseeing the investigations in both Green Bay and Waupun now join inmates, lawmakers, and other stakeholders in urging Evers to approve a replacement.
It will save lives. It will provide for a more humane treatment of inmates. It will provide a need for less correctional officers.
Brown County District Attorney David Lassay tells me he asked Weber to review these cases because of their complexity and the desire to have an attorney outside the criminal justice system provide an objective review. Brown County Sheriff Captain David Poteet tells me he has no issues with the special prosecutor's decision to not file charges. The special prosecutor laid a lot of blame on staffing issues in his letters explaining why he didn't believe criminal charges should be filed. You can read those letters within this story on fox11online.com.
What was your initial reactions to the allegations of finding reports by Dodge County Sheriff's Office regarding inmates' death at Waupun?
Well, the allegations are incredibly concerning. I read some of the news coverage of the allegations, and anybody who is in the custody and care of the Wisconsin correction system needs to be treated humanely, and we need to ensure that the health and well-being is protected. And if there are violations of the law that are committed, the people responsible for that need to be held accountable.
Was the DOJ involved in Dodge County investigation at all, or have you been asked to assist with the federal investigation at the alleged smuggling ring at Waupun?
The Department of Justice worked with the governor's office to refer this matter to federal investigators so that the federal investigation could be conducted. So we have been involved in the matter in that way, working with the governor's office, but the investigation has been conducted by the Dodge County Sheriff's Office and then by federal authorities.
What is your concern level when you convict someone, hold them responsible, to find out that they may have been treated this way in your state prison system?
Well, it's critical that when somebody is held accountable for a crime that their sentence is served appropriately, but it's also critical that it be done in conditions that are safe and humane. And I think it's really important to emphasize that this is critically important for the people who themselves are in the custody and care of our prison system, but it's also really important for public safety that we're ensuring that our system is working effectively, because nearly everybody who goes into our correction system will someday leave our correction system, go back into our communities, and making sure that we have programs and policies and processes in place that will keep people safe and hopefully help with, in some cases, recovery, with job training, with other things that can help folks succeed when they leave the system. All our communities are safer if we can accomplish that.
Last one I have. Are you in favor of closing down Waupun and Green Bay Correctional Institution, the oldest facilities in the state?
Well, I think it's critical that our legislators and policymakers come together to evaluate the system that we're facing right now. We've had some major challenges with the correctional system over a number of years. There's a significant shortage in staffing at a number of facilities. While that's gotten a little bit better in Waupun, it's still a major challenge there, and it's not just Waupun that faces this issue. So making sure that we've got adequate staffing, that we have effective programs in place, and that the high standards that have been set for the correctional system are being upheld. Those are all steps we need to take. I think it's also important for policymakers to look holistically at what things should look like over the next several years, and I think evaluating what facilities we have and whether there are changes that need to be made is something that we need to have a healthy discussion about.